I put a spell on you, and now you're mine. Hocus Pocus. What a memorable Halloweenish film this is. And from Disney. Yep. Disney has had some pretty good Halloweenish films. From this, Halloween Town, and of course, The Nightmare Before Christmas. And other films of Disney that are perfect to watch around Halloween. I could think of, say, the Haunted Mansion movies. The Pirates of the Caribbean films, kind of, I guess. I mean, at the Disney parks, they do a lot of stuff with the Pirates of the Caribbean around Halloween time, like, say, at Mickey's Not So Scary Halloween Party at the Disney parks. And everybody, loves to ride Pirates of the Caribbean on Mickey's Not So Scary Halloween Party, and alongside with the Haunted Mansion. And another Disney film, and which being Disney and Pixar, the Monsters, Inc. films. Because, monsters. So, yeah. And especially since ABC Family, now called Freeform, they had shown Monsters, Inc. in the month of October, along with other films that they've shown, like, say, Nightmare, Hocus Pocus, Beetlejuice. Yeah, I remember them doing that. So, yeah. And, there's a lot more I can say on the Disney parks, and especially for me and my parents, when we've gone to the Disney parks, since, I brought up about the Disney parks. But I'll talk more about that after I do my reaction on a CinemaSins video. Yes, because, as you read the title of this reaction video, the first CinemaSins video that I'm reacting to for the month of October, which being Everything Wrong with Hocus Pocus in however many minutes it takes. Yeah, like, some titles in the CinemaSins videos, like, however they would be, like, in 19 minutes or 20 minutes, you've seen the CinemaSins videos, and you know how some of the titles, how they go. So, yeah. It's funny. Yeah, because the cinema, as I've established, when they sin on movies, because it's true with some things they nitpick at and so on, but still, the CinemaSins videos are just for laughs. So, there you go. Okay, so without further ado, let's see what CinemaSins has to say of Hocus Pocus. I can guarantee you, because, what they're gonna say. But anyways. Alright, so without further ado, we shall begin. In 3, 2, 1, play. No. Full screen, come on, there we go. In 18 minutes or less.
Over an open landscape to open a movie about magic and evil? Is this seriously trying to be Disney's version of The Shining? Look, I don't care if they are witches. This is clear and convincing evidence of blatant overcandling. They should be executed for that alone.
Another glorious morning. Makes me sick.
Movie steals the opposite things humans say and feel about stuff that's good thing from the Addams Family.
It's time.
Damn, someone should tell Beth that she's not on stage, doesn't have to play to the back row. Why the hell is this kid breaking into the house on his own? He told the other boy to summon the townsfolk several minutes ago, and they can clearly see the smoke the witches are putting out from the village. How are they this far behind? So the
Everybody's asleep?
In this cauldron in the center of the room. So what's this other cauldron that's over a fire in the chimney? How is that creating the convenient thick purple smoke that allowed Thackeray to find this house? If Winifred had these Emperor Palpatine zappy hands, why didn't she use that when she first saw Thackeray? Confusing children for weed.
You hag. There are not enough children in the world to make
The Young and Beautiful.
That's not enough childrenist. That's right, folks. Your girlfriend's favorite nostalgia porn from the 90s features 2 instances of child torture within its first 10 minutes.
What hast thou done with
Oh,
my
brother.
son Thackeray?
Okay, I get the townspeople are pissed at the witches, but isn't dude still trying to locate his son? Like, why would you kill all 3 of the sisters at the same time if you want answers? Maybe off one, then see if the others talk.
My ungodly book speaks to you. When all Hallows Eve and the moon is around, a virgin will summon us from under the ground.
First off, why even tell them about the book? Second off, since we find out later that the book can't be burned, why didn't the townspeople at least parallax this so nobody, except maybe Natalie Portman, could stumble upon it?
It just so happens that Halloween Halloween is based on the ancient feast called All Hallows Eve.
This girl discount Hillary Swank so hard that I had to remind myself the real version was busy doing the next Karate Kid around this time.
Here's my number.
Hey man, props for being confident enough to give the hottest girl in your class your number in front of everybody. But did you have to use an entire goddamn notebook page to write this little bit of information in the left corner? I'm sorry, is this even supposed to be the same thing he gave her? Aside from the name and number looking totally different, it appears to be written on the right side of the page rather than the left. It's kind of unbelievable that this kind of continuity is that hard to keep. Jesus Christ, this movie has more suburban New England bike riding footage than a Stephen King adaptation.
You got any cash?
Pretty hard to believe that Matt
These
has been
two.
in town for a week and he hasn't run into these guys on his way home from school until now. But I just want to send Hollywood's incessant need for bullies in every single young adult film ever made. This is an orgy of evidence that this is a boys' room. Drums, basketball net, Hellraiser skateboard, dartboard, assorted mounted fake fish, actual fish, and this lamp. And holy, what is this lamp? It looks like, I don't know, Paul Revere with a bikini model with no horse visible. I think this woman is being held up entirely by something around Paul Revere's waist, adding way more context to that British are coming message.
Okay
I
then.
fantasized about a lot of girls in my high school back in the day, but I'm pretty sure I did not cuddle up with a pillow pretending it was one of them. Stack of Legos with their yearbook photo attached to the top? Sure. Pillow? No. Your first time for what? Because later you say,
We used to have so much fun together trick-or-treating.
so I don't understand what the first time is. Is it your first time without mom and dad? Or is it supposed to be your first time trick-or-treating? I think the former requires explanation and the latter is a total lie.
I'd say first time without her parents.
Hey, that's weird. The two kids dressed up in the same outfits and carrying the same are still outside the Dennison house 2 minutes later. And so is that asshole carrying his backpack and the dude on the bike. And probably a whole bunch of other dicks who are just hanging around.
What are you supposed to be?
Maybe.
Oh, well, your hat should be on sideways, shouldn't it?
We are the American 90s.
Charles
We
Rocket.
have a president that plays the saxophone. The climate is cool and refreshing. There are slap bracelets and cross trainers. And we can even have fun with stereotypes and cultural jokes that will never be dated.
Everybody pays the toll.
Stuff in zit face.
Where you live?
This dude is as likable as the actual ice.
So, you're doing a little.
I mean, Max brave.
I know these bullies are supposed to be dumb and generally hateable, but they have a genuine
I mean,
unlikability.
not
on screen
Max,
that makes the movie itself tough to watch. These buttheads are as stupidly
his
fixated
sister.
on Max as the ski slope guy was on Stan in that South Park episode.
I miss all my friends. I want to go home.
Look, it's obviously not these kids' fault.
Danny, yes, right, Danny.
Birch went on to have some
Danny was
legit
brave
success,
there.
So couldn't the screenwriters have helped them out a bit? One of the dudes wrote the American Tail stuff, for Christ's sake.
Trick-or-treat.
Small town or not, is it ever okay to actually go up inside a house to make a trick-or-treat request? I say nay.
Max Dennison.
Holy Spider-Man homecoming coincidence, Batman.
Wow, Allison.
It's both disturbing and hilariously appropriate that there's clearly an Eyes Wide Shut style orgy happening in the parlor of this house right now.
I don't have What do you
No.
call Max? Yabos? Max likes her yabos.
Look, I was a teenager in 1993, and I don't remember anybody calling boobs yabos. In fact, yabos is clearly way dirtier than just calling.
Are they not going to
boobs.
bring up the virgin thing? You know, that's throughout this whole movie.
You're telling me they closed this museum years ago, but didn't clear out the merchandise? Whoa, and the motherfucker lights on the first try after all this time? Zippos never light the first time, especially when they've been lying dormant for a while. Hell, the entire Tarantino section of 4 rooms is very dependent on this phenomenon. Based solely on the reaction
Okay.
of the class after
Tarantino
Allison gave that
rooms.
speech about Halloween, I'm going to call bull on the Sanderson House Museum being completely abandoned and forgotten, when this town clearly loves them some Halloween. This would, at the very least, be a haunted house attraction. If the cat's main job is to ward off any intruders on Halloween night, why is he just starting now, after they got in and are nosing around? Were there better places for this 300-year-old cat to be tonight?
Legend says that on a full moon it will raise the spirits of the dead when lit by a virgin on Halloween night.
Notice how many different oddball factors have to be true for this to work. Full moon, virgin, Halloween night, and somehow there's a functioning black flame candle. Perhaps the same one from 300 years ago, still lying around the old house that's been turned into a tourist attraction.
Oh, come on. It's just a bunch of hocus pocus.
This is such an obvious roll credits moment that I'm convinced the
I was gonna say, roll credits.
Work their way outward.
Wake up, sleepyhead.
It makes no sense to me that this book, or really even this house, even exists today. Apparently the old Salem of Salem witch trials fame left everything preserved after they hanged the witches, gave them proper burials under their house, kept the spell book intact, and left
I
the
smell
evidence around the place
children.
knowing that one day people would want to spend money to see all this. Also, wouldn't somebody have tried the black flame candle thing already? This is Salem, where the Sanderson sisters are legendary. Somebody who's never before would have lit this candle on Halloween night during a full moon. Movie unintentionally inspires horribly named Marilyn Manson album, Cherry Clan Candy.
Okay.
Man, these witches are no worse for the wear after being gone 300 years. Normally when an entity comes back from the dead, it takes forever to get their full powers back. Just ask like Voldemort or Dracula or Mel Gibson.
You mess with the great and powerful
Mel
man,
Gibson?
now must suffer the
Why Mel
consequences.
Gibson?
What? This dickhead couldn't even evade 2 dim-witted bullies earlier today, and now he's formulating plans to foil 3 actual witches? Museum that has been shut down for a long time still has operating fire sprinklers.
Nice going, Max.
So the f is up with the cat being able to talk all of a sudden? If this is tied to the black flame candle, it doesn't make much sense, because those are 2 completely
Speaking of
different
which,
styles.
like,
Witches curse
Zachary
cat being
Binks
cat and
as a
absolutely
cat is
unrelated
being
to
voiced
tied
by
into the black
Max
flame.
Goof.
The only spell tied to the BFC is their resurrection. A whole lot of headaches, and movies called Hocus Pocus could have been avoided.
I'm not
if Batman
kidding.
could have simply talked to his dad 300 years ago.
Tis a black river.
I guess, sure. We've never seen a road before.
Why is the
But
Black
I think
River
it's
not
right.
moving? Because it's water, you know?
Nothing
Like,
about this suggests a river. And yes, they are dumb. But the first 2 times they are tricked in this movie, it's because they don't know what water is.
Tis firm. Tis firm as stone.
This was the same amount of surprise that my college girlfriend registered the first time we slept with each other. To her credit, I had consumed 12 highballs within 2 hours that night, so I understood her skepticism.
When the sun comes up, we have dust.
Not only did Winifred fail
Toast.
to mention this before they died the first time, she waits until way
Pudding.
they came back to tell them they only have like a couple hours to exist.
Nice going, Airhead.
Hey, look, I'm sorry, okay?
You know, there's almost as much nostalgia about this movie as there is for The Nightmare Before Christmas, and I'm here to tell you that that is wrong. This movie is balls. If this movie had balls, I would punch it right in those balls.
but
It's protected by magic.
it is
What
memorable.
about throwing it in an ocean? What about maybe taking a knife to it and cutting the out of it? Only pyromaniacs think there's no other solution.
It's just a bunch of hocus pocus.
Rolls. I already did that, but I'm very much wanting these credits to roll already.
Again, roll credits.
Afraid not.
This somehow works, as if magic is foiled by weight. No one will be seated while the achingly slow wirework holding the brooms manages to grind this movie down to a nub.
They can't touch us here, right? Well, they can't.
Wait, you mean you know they can raise the dead and specifically Winifred's old lover to come attack you? Also, when you said this was a hallowed ground earlier, you seemed pretty confident that the witches couldn't do anything while you were in the cemetery. But surely you knew they could fly with broomsticks, right? Especially if you know about their ability to raise the dead.
Oh, cheese and crust.
Cheese and crust is maybe the PGest version of Jesus Christ I've ever heard. I know this isn't a densely populated town, but there have been a bunch of people running around all night, and not one person has...
However, like, they do say hell and damn in this film, so...
That sounds uncomfortable, and we know that gut garters are so last season. Oh well, still beats that stars and garters line from X-Men The Last Stand.
Okay.
God, this movie's shouty. Basically the Halloween gender swap version of the Goonies, and I mean that in the worst possible way. Given the amount of moonlight, this lighter is doing jack other than continuing a bizarre product placement in this movie.
To convey gorgeous creatures such as yourselves to your most forbidden desires.
Jerry, this is why we only give you the Halloween night shift.
I told you I can't die.
Yeah, but you didn't say that no
Bobble,
matter how bad your body
bobble,
was flat,
as the
it
bus
would
driver
go back up
says.
like a basketball. Immortality has so many different facets. It usually means you can't die of old age. But like vampires and Highlanders, there are ways to die.
I'm very confused. I smell children, but I don't
Oh yeah,
see
Mrs.
children.
Pot costume.
Bless you.
Oh, off, Sister Act. I'm sure they're in but that little angel girl looked almost exactly like the little girl whose soul they sucked in the beginning of the movie. You might think Gary Marshall is only
No.
dressed as Satan, but once you see Valentine's
Gary
Day,
Marshall.
New Year's Eve, Exit to Eden, and Raising Helen, you will know in your heart that this is no act.
Officer,
What's the problem?
Tell him.
go ahead.
Dude, even if he's not a real cop, can't you just say something like 3 psychotic grown women are actively chasing us? Can you help us not die right now?
Are you a virgin?
Nobody expects the Virgin Inquisition. I just realized this is Doug Jones, Mr. Shape of Water and Abe Sapien.
Who asks somebody that?
Does this guy ever get to use his real face? Q2 movie, you've been giving me this finger for the entire runtime. Okay, guys, look, Gary Marshall is Penny Marshall's brother, and I don't want to live in a world where Gary Marshall and Penny Marshall play husband and wife.
But it's funny.
I bet you could explain a lot of the tone of this movie by listing the various recreational drugs that were popular in the early 90s.
Come on.
Find mom and dad in this place.
Yeah, the place is fairly big, I guess, but it shouldn't take any more than 10 minutes to find your parents or for them to notice you first. I'm wondering,
Yeah.
how do adults at this party, how do Allison's parents have a full-blown aristocrat party on the same night also? With the parents who stay home and the others who chaperone their kids trick-or-treating, that reduces the potential party population significantly. This town is not huge, so it's amazing both parties are so robust.
Oh my goodness, who must this charming young blood donor be?
It's amazing this guy is dressed and made up as Dracula, but that's not the scariest thing about him.
This cat hear voices, right? He can talk.
Oh,
When this
please.
happened, he lit the black pink candle. The witches are back from the dead and they're after us. We need help.
How much candy have you had, honey?
Charlie Brown holiday special.
Oh?
You could probably write an entire thesis on how casually horny this character is and how it has all to do with the plot, but for now, I'm content to just write a sin.
Now the witch is back!
And there's hell to pay.
You know what? I may actually.
Like I said, hell in this film,
I'd like to make
and damn,
completely confounded
because
by
Winifred
a
said damn.
earlier, but now they know what microphones and dance choreography are.
I put a spell on you!
But the kids have been listening this whole time too. Is there an age limit to this spell? Coincidentally, this was Steve Rubel's mandate for anyone that attended Studio 54 in the late 70s.
Okay.
Squad!
So wait, you're telling me that Mary's sense of smell is so good that it brought them here exactly where Max and everybody is, but the squad is clouding her senses? She's found the kids at least 3 times in this movie, despite tons of smells, but now her radar is off. Excuse me, 3:05? It wouldn't be because this is the only establishing shot you had from earlier and you just darkened it to make it look like it was nighttime, is it? Because it sure as hell isn't 3:05 a.m. Also, I wonder
Really?
why they were able to get all the way to
Did they
the
actually do
studio
that?
wicked smell picking up
I did. I
the
never
scene
noticed.
beforehand, so that they simply wouldn't have time to set up this plan they've concocted. Also, schools are usually locked, right? Especially on Halloween.
Also,
night.
also.
It's impossible to lock doors more than they normally are, I suppose. But on this day of all days, they would get a double and triple check. What the kind of school has a kiln the size of a New York City studio apartment? Have they used this for other witches before?
Hello, I would
see.
like a
Winnipegers
book.
Prematurely celebrated in 1993 almost as much as they did at the end of the 2007 NFL regular season. Damn, dude, I'm impressed. They're already sleeping together? I guess his parents won't care when they get home and check up on them. I guess her parents won't care at all either. Sure, this is probably a totally chaste sleepover, but this is still a big step. And yes, perhaps the witches actually did put a spell on everybody at the party. That still doesn't explain why Max thinks he can just have a girl in his bed, no questions asked. Oh, so let me get this straight. The witches
Bonjour.
burned 3 hours ago, as the now correct high school clock read midnight when everybody was acting a fool outside celebrating their murders.
Oh,
Why would it take 3 hours?
yeah, Danny did a
for that
cartwheel.
smoke to turn back into full-body
I forgot
witches?
about that.
What the hell is Max planning to do with the spell book? Just keep it in his bed? He knows that motherfucker has an eyeball, right? So he wanted it to watch?
Hold my hand.
Way to go, Max! You're not a virgin anymore. Please, please. I believe it's magic. I believe it's magic, magic. Sure, it's incredibly convenient.
I don't think I remember that. I don't think I know that reference. They just did.
Be the only people to notice it.
I believe
It's
it's
only 5
magic,
o'clock. There
magic.
should be numerous assholes seeing this incredible light show, right? Wait, a mop works just as well as a broom?
Yeah.
Do they need anything specific to make them fly then? Or can they just stick any long phallic-shaped item between their legs and off they get?
We're just trying to help you.
Nothing good
Sarah Jessica Parker
comes
felt comfortable
Yeah, that's precisely
riding
what
on
I
a
say about this
broomstick.
entire situation, even though I'm fully aware of how
Harness,
dangerous
you
it
know,
is.
that's what I read.
That's not right.
The director weirdly decided to leave Vanessa Shaw's on-set comments about the production in the actual movie. Man, this movie really wants to be a musical, doesn't it? It's like a half-ass away from being a full quarter-ass music, if I'm doing my calculations correctly. It is 5 o'clock, right? Some parents are up, correct? The is this Pied Piper nonsense at 5 goddamn clock?
Who cares?
And why are these 2 assholes immune from the siren song? Just as much children as the others, according to the witching logic.
It doesn't matter how young or old you are. You sold your soul.
This has to have been a verbatim rant by Kanye at last year's Kardashian Thanksgiving Day dinner table, doesn't it?
Daylight savings time.
Are you f***ing kidding
A Kardashian
me?
joke.
Couldn't pass for daylight as Sylvester Stallone was stuck in the Holland Tunnel trying to get Amy Brenneman to safety. I know there's a psychological element to this, and these witches are stupid, but come on. They'd be doing everything to give Danny that potion right now, aside from the fact that they shouldn't even be feeling anything.
I want to get that little rat-faced kid that called me!
Yep, they have all the children in the world here to keep living, but Winifred's revenge boner is stronger than making sure they survive and getting Danny another day.
Are they following us?
No.
But, you know, they can fly on brooms and may not be directly behind us, but...
Whoa! Let me see your driver's permit.
Okay, up until now, I've been letting the anachronistic sayings by these 300-plus-year-old witches go, since maybe they picked up a little lingo through the course of the night. But there's no f***ing way Winnie would know what this means, so I'm going to retroactively add sins for all those other sayings.
Oh,
Just
come
the opposite,
on.
thinking head. No wonder he started...
I'm sure she must have learned it throughout the night, you know.
Thank you. Drop this.
I won't ask questions about how this head gets reattached after getting lopped off.
This'll teach you to
Yeah.
call people ugly!
Oh yeah, I forgot. The whole reason for this revenge boner is that Danny called her ugly. Which, yeah, that was rude. But that's exactly what Dickhead McScrotumface called them earlier, and they already have him locked up and ready to go. But apparently Winifred was more upset about...
And Max
than
doesn't let
ugly,
them out.
and ugly is her surefire trigger word. Huh, I guess curiosity killed the cat. I mean, what is this f***ing ending? He drank the potion, so she's got to drink.
Well, I
then
mean,
he's trying
when the
to
witches
choke
are
her. She's
killed,
bouncing on
you
the
know.
moon so she doesn't touch the hallowed ground while she's trying to drain the young juice. Do I have that insane? Damn, that vacuum has tons of uses, doesn't it?
The witch isn't dead. My soul's finally free.
They were dead for 300 goddamn years, and it didn't matter. Yeah, sure, they had a...
Well, they're finally killed, turned to dust. I mean,
dead. Winifred even mentioned going to hell and finding it lovely earlier.
Hey, Max.
and aside from the sequel,
Results-oriented thinking. Damn, this movie just threw a happy ending kitchen sink at us, didn't they? Thackeray's ghost can tell everybody that everything is okay. His ghost sister just shows up out of nowhere, even though her soul was never trapped or anything. She was just plain dead. I'm half expecting Moonlight Graham to show up and save Danny from choking. I guess this is supposed to mean there was going to be a sequel? Sequel. Holy...
yeah, this was uploaded, you know.
I will never be the woman with the perfect hair who can wear white and not spill on it.
A message from the Cinema Sans universe.
Okay, I don't know why, like, why? Because why do this in the middle and not do the outtakes after? But what was I saying again? Oh yeah, because having this be out, you know, a couple of years before the sequel came out, because yeah, by the time that the CinemaSins video, you know, of Hocus Pocus came out, yeah, it was announced that a sequel to Hocus Pocus was finally happening. So yeah, and thus we do finally have it.
Listening as much as we love talking.
All right.
What's that like?
Wake up, darling.
Open your eyes.
Wait a minute! You didn't learn how World War II ended. We won!
Simpsons.
Everybody pays the toll. You gotta pay the troll toll. If you want to get into that boy's hole, you gotta pay the troll toll to get in.
Lando.
Drink your milkshake. I drink it up.
Keep your eyes shut, Mary.
This cat here thinks, right? He can talk. My brother's a virgin. He lit the black pink candle.
Meanwhile, I'm dating a virgin. I'm in this contest. Something's gotta give.
And that's it. Okay. I got a couple of the jokes. Well, you know, Star Wars and Indiana Jones. That was about it. Although, yeah, I audio from The Simpsons I recognize. So, yeah. The other jokes I didn't get, unfortunately. Wow. That was pretty good. You know, again, these videos from CinemaSins, they are for laughs. And yeah, it was funny. Like, I did get some pretty good laughs. And the outtakes, as I just said, like, yeah, I got three. I understood three of them. Again, it was obvious. Star Wars, which being Return of the Jedi, Lando, you know, yeehaw, and Raiders of the Lost Ark. Yeah, don't look, Mary, keep your eyes shut. And audio from The Simpsons. Yeah, again, those are the only three jokes that I got. The others, sadly, no. Well, I mean, no doubt about it, because when somebody would, like, watch or react to a CinemaSins video, no doubt that they wouldn't get all of the jokes. So, yeah. All right, enough said. Jump cut to my thoughts now. Hey guys, so that was my reaction to the CinemaSins video of Everything Wrong with Hocus Pocus, and as it says at the end of the title, in however many minutes it takes. Although, in the video, you know, it says in 18 minutes or less. So, yeah. I don't know, because, like, you know, they just, you know, wanted to make the last words of the title of the video funny, you know, I guess. But, yeah. So, again, that was pretty good, and, again, I got some good laughs from it, and... yeah, I mean, like, of course they had to talk about it, as I mentioned, like, throughout a good chunk of this film, like, them like talking about the fact that Max is a virgin, and that one guy dressed up as a police officer, which by the way, it is illegal to dress up as a police officer, maybe even on Halloween, I don't know. I mean, if it's too realistic, that's the thing. Like, out of nowhere, he asks Max, "Are you a virgin?" Like, I've even like seen Nostalgia Critic's review on Hocus Pocus, like the one where it's like they don't like he doesn't really review Hocus Pocus, but it's like a mini movie that he's done with Nostalgia Critic and the skits, and how throughout the whole video of Hocus Pocus and on Nostalgia Ween, it's him and Malcolm. They're being chased by the Sanderson sisters. And even, like, they stumble upon a fake policeman and asking... the policeman, played by Rob, asks Malcolm's character, "Are you a virgin?" And Nostalgia Critic's like, "He's 13! What is wrong with you people?" He has a good point. Yeah. Who would ask somebody that question? Jeez. And Gary Marshall's appearance in the film is hilarious. And, Penny Marshall, his sister, and the fact, because, they play husband and wife in this film is funny. I think, I think in Hocus Pocus, they managed to make it funny. So, yeah. And, the thing is that when this film came out, and I didn't mention this, when this came out in 1993, and this came out in the summertime, like... kind of odd for a movie to be released around the summer, for a Halloweenish movie, I should say, to be released around the summertime. I think, from what I remember, like, two reasons was because, well, kids were getting out of school and the opportunity to see this film, and another reason is that, with The Nightmare Before Christmas coming out the same year, and coming out in October, and Disney wanted to have The Nightmare Before Christmas take its spotlight, Yeah, I mean, because, when Nightmare Before Christmas came out, like, it just blew up, And I think the same went for Hocus Pocus. I mean, the thing is, it wasn't a huge success. But there are many people that just love the heck out of this movie. And it's grown a cult following, and, even, like, say, my mom, she loves Hocus Pocus. And I do, too. I mean, I enjoy it. Yeah. And just everybody just going crazy over Hocus Pocus. And the fact that we finally got a sequel and another Hocus Pocus film on the way. Yeah. And another thing is, and because, I saved this after doing my reaction to the video about the Disney parks. Like... I was talking about, Haunted Mansion and Pirates of the Caribbean, being, like, two of the attractions at the Disney parks that everybody would love to ride on during Mickey's Not-So-Scary Halloween Party. Well, with, like, the stage shows that they would have, like, say, at the castle at Disney World, Magic Kingdom, aside from the fireworks... they have, like, the Hocus Pocus show, where the Sanderson sisters come out, and so do the Disney villains to create a potion, and, of course, the Sanderson sisters singing their rendition of I Put a Spell on You. Because the Hocus Pocus show at Disney World being very popular, and I got to experience that, both me and my mom. Yeah, and about the Disney parks, because, my parents and I, we loved doing Mickey's Not-So-Scary Halloween Party whenever we had gone to Disney World. The costumes that I dressed up in, and some of the Disney rides that we rode on, like Pirates of the Caribbean and Haunted Mansion being one of them. We did get to ride those. Some rides at Fantasyland that we rode on, like we rode Snow White's Scary Adventures when that was still in Fantasyland, and before New Fantasyland came around, and, before Snow White's Scary Adventures was gone. So I remember we rode that. We also rode The Many Adventures of Winnie the Pooh. We rode Small World. I remember that. I want to say we rode Peter Pan's Flight. Maybe, I can't remember. I can only think of the only Fantasyland rides I could think of that we rode on Mickey's Not So on the night of Mickey's Not So Scary Halloween Party that we rode on. Snow White's Scary Adventures, The Many Adventures of Winnie the Pooh, and Small World. So that's about it. And I remember because like at Mickey's Not So Scary Halloween Party, like the line to get candy, trick or treating, like I remember because we went through the Enchanted Tiki Room. What was the other one? I know it slipped. Oh, I think Jungle Cruise. Yeah, what was really cool to the outside entrance of Jungle Cruise. The entrance, like they had inflatables of the 3 tiki heads from the tank. From Finding Nemo. I remember that very well. They started doing that with line to get candy. Like they started doing that with the laugh floor, that's in Tomorrowland, Monsters Inc. I'd love to do that. And you know what? You could sit down and relax, and sometimes the monsters would come out and do funny stuff, And there's also like a trick-or-treating line in Country Bear Jamboree, which is pretty awesome, and the Halloween parades that they have at Magic Kingdom. Like, well, there's only one, of course, which being Boo to You. And the Headless Horseman, like, he would show up before the parade would start. Yeah, pretty awesome. Yeah. My experiences going to Mickey's Not So Scary Halloween Party and the fireworks, definitely like the Halloween fireworks that Magic Kingdom has. I'm talking about the one before the new one that happened a couple years ago, where Jack Skellington comes out and projections on the castle. I'm talking about the original, that one where, like, they would sing Grim Grin Ghost, This Is Halloween, and, like, fireworks just everywhere. It's so intense, yeah. And that was still around even when the Hocus Pocus show started. And let me tell you, like, the cast members that performed the Sanderson sisters, they don't disappoint. And it's a shame that the Sanderson sisters have yet to be, like, say, meet and greets. Like, there's no meet and greets for the Sanderson sisters. The only thing that is a meet and greet that has to do something with Hocus Pocus and the Sanderson sisters are Daisy Duck, Minnie Mouse, and Clarabelle Cow. They are dressed up as the Sanderson sisters. Yeah, if any of you do or do not know that, because Minnie Mouse is dressed up as Winifred, Daisy is dressed up as Sarah, and Clarabelle is dressed up as Mary. Yeah. And speaking of the Sanderson sisters and Sarah Sanderson, it's kind of funny because, like, how sometimes, like, actors and actresses, they would play characters where their character would share the first name, which in this case, Sarah Jessica Parker, her first name is Sarah. You get it? So, yeah, that's pretty funny. Yeah, but more on Hocus Pocus. Just so many memorable things from this film, from the 3 actresses themselves. Billy Butcherson, played by Doug Jones. Who doesn't love Doug Jones? And I consider him the king of makeup, because he has done so many characters that have to do with makeup. And, the many characters he has played that, have makeup on, like, he seems to be perfectly comfortable with it. Like, he has just done so many characters, like creatures and makeup, and just doesn't seem to have a problem with it. And the fact that he's part of, like, the cast of Discovery, Star Trek Discovery I'm talking about. Again, it seems like he is perfectly comfortable whenever, like, he's wearing creature makeup and so on. Like, doesn't have a problem with it. And yeah, he's a good sport, a trooper. He does it like a boss. As I mentioned, like, I wanted to bring this up again. The fact that, yeah, because, like, the CinemaSins narrator, like, mentioning, like, because of what Winifred said at one point, oh, cheese and crackers, however she said it, and, the CinemaSins narrator saying, something of a, this being a PG film. And again, damn and hell are the only two, like, swear words that are in this film. Winifred says damn, 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 double damn, and, like, Billy Butcherson, like, he says, you bucktooth, fire, fly from hell, like, yeah. And by the way, because, yeah, like, the first word he says, wench, like, originally, I have to mention this, and pardon my French, originally, Billy was supposed to say bitch, but Doug, he felt that was kind of, and I get it, especially for a Disney film, come on. So, I mean, wench was suitable. And besides, like, I know I've heard, like, hell and damn have been used before in some Disney stuff. Well, I mean, mostly, like, say hell. Like, Sleeping Beauty, you heard Maleficent say hell, and all the powers of hell, yeah. But, yeah. What else do I want to mention? Oh, yeah, because, like, they did show, like, the last shot of the film, like, before the credits roll. Well, I mean, during when the credits are rolling, as they start rolling, where we see, like, Max and Danny's parents, like, they're coming out of the Halloween party, and then we see the two bullies, they're still in the cages, and they're singing Row, Row, Row Your Boat, and then we cut to the book, Winifred's magical book, waking up and teasing, that there could be a sequel, and the fact that, yeah, we did get a sequel. That was great. And another thing is, like, one more thing, like, with the songs in the film, and as I mentioned, I Put a Spell on You, that being a memorable song from the film, the Sanderson sisters, variation of I Put a Spell on You. And I remember, like, my mom complaining that has not been released on like, a soundtrack or anything like that, the Sanderson sisters version of I Put a Spell on You. I don't know. Maybe I should check to see, like, if it is available, like, if there's a clean version of the song, like, if it's on a soundtrack. I don't know. I mean, what about you guys? Have you noticed that too? Like, if it is out there? I don't know. Also, like, another song I could think of, one more, like, Come Little Children, that Sarah sings, yeah. And yeah, like, the CinemaSins narrator had a good point, because, like, this film, like, taking place all throughout, one day, throughout the whole evening, and just, I don't know, and the kids would still be out trick-or-treating at that late at night, or there's a good guess that, like, I don't know, when Sarah was singing her song, like, what, the kids woke up, and, like, I don't know, it's never established anyways, so who really cares, like, it's one of those things, But overall, Hocus Pocus, it is a memorable Halloweenish film, and from Disney, and the CinemaSins video, again, these are for laughs, and yeah, like, they made some good points, and as I talked about, as I mentioned, but still, they're for laughs, so then that's all there is to it. So what about you guys? What did you think of the video itself? What did you think of my reaction? Leave comments, and give this reaction video a like, as always. So, with all that being said, thank you very much for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed my reaction to the CinemaSins video of Everything Wrong with Hocus Pocus in however many minutes it takes. More reaction videos are on the way. They're going to be awesome. Keep looking forward, and I'll see you guys in the next video /reaction. Take care, and peace out.